a senior Indian cabinet minister. How do you react to it?
This is Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. I also have a question on Canada. Jagmeet Singh has said that his party would like to introduce a motion to officially recognize the Sikh genocide in their parliament. Your reactions?
So this is Ayush Agarwal from ANI. What is India's comment on the recent sanctions announced by US against 19 private entities from India and 2 Indian nationals allegedly for dual-use technologies to Russia? And also, did this issue come up during the talks between our NSA, the telephonic talks held between our NSA and Jake Sullivan?
So I'm Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Express. So the US has been sending flights repatriating illegal Indians from there. Has this been discussed again with the American side? Because they had a press conference and they mentioned that there are several other Indians that they will be sending over a period of time.
Elena, TASS News Agency, good afternoon. My question is also on US sanctions. What can they have any impact on business in India of Indian companies? And yes, will you discuss it with your counterparts and on the whole, what is India's position on such sanctions policy from American side?
Okay.
Thank you.
So first, let's take Srinjoy's question regarding latest Canadian target. We had summoned the representative of the Canadian High Commission yesterday. A diplomatic note was handed over in reference to the proceedings of the Standing Committee on Public Safety and National Security in Ottawa on October 29th, 2024. It was conveyed in the note that the Government of India protests in the strongest terms to the absurd and baseless references made to the Union Home Minister of India before the committee by Deputy Minister David Morrison. In fact, the revelation that high Canadian officials deliberately leak unfounded insinuations to the international media as part of a conscious strategy to discredit India and influence other nations only confirms the view Government of India has long held about current Canadian government's political agenda and behavioral pattern. Such irresponsible actions will have serious consequences for bilateral ties. हमने कल कनाडा के उच्चायोग यानी दूतावास के प्रतिनिधि को समन किया था। 29 अक्टूबर 2024 को ओटावा में सार्वजनिक सुरक्षा और राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा पर स्थायी समिति कार्यवाही के संदर्भ में एक राजनयिक नोट उस प्रतिनिधि को सौंपा गया है। उस नोट में बताया गया कि भारत सरकार उप मंत्री डेविड मॉरिसन द्वारा समिति के समक्ष भारत के केंद्रीय गृह मंत्री के बारे में व्यक्त किए गए अनर्गल और निराधार संदर्भों को कड़े से कड़ा विरोध करती है। कनाडा के उच्च अधिकारी भारत को बदनाम करने और अन्य देशों को प्रभावित करने की एक सुविचारित रणनीति के तहत जानबूझकर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मीडिया को निराधार आक्षेप लीक करते हैं। यह रहस्य उद्घाटन उस दृष्टिकोण की ही पुष्टि करता है जो भारत सरकार लंबे समय से वर्तमान कनाडा सरकार के राजनीतिक एजेंडा और उसके व्यवहार के तौर तरीके के बारे में रखती रही है। इस तरह की गैर जिम्मेदाराना कार्रवाइयों से द्विपक्षीय संबंधों पर गंभीर परिणाम होंगे। Ishi, your question regarding certain celebration that you referred in the parliament. All along we have been making our point very clear about our views very clear about extremism and the culture of violence and anti-India activities in Canada. This is our core concern with the Canadian government, and we hope that they will take action against these activities. That is how we look at it. The issue on the sanction of 19 Indian companies, we have seen these reports of US sanctions. India has a robust legal and regulatory framework on strategic trade and non-proliferation controls. We are also a member of 3 key multilateral non-proliferation export control regimes, the Wassenaar Arrangement, the Australia Group, and the Missile Technology Control Regime, and have been effectively implementing relevant UNSC sanctions and UNSC Resolution 1540 on non-proliferation. Our understanding is that the sanctioned transactions and companies are not in violation of Indian laws. Nevertheless, in keeping with India's established non-proliferation credentials, we are working with all the relevant Indian departments and agencies to sensitize Indian companies on applicable export control provisions, as also inform them on new measures being implemented that could impact Indian companies in certain circumstances. Regular strategic trade, export control outreach events for Indian industries and stakeholders are being carried out by agencies of the Government of India. We are also in touch with the US authorities to clarify issues. That also answers your question, Elena. On deportation of irregular and illegal Indians in the United States, you would have seen that recently we had some deportation from the United States. We have a regular dialogue with the United States on migration and mobility. And the idea behind that is to create more avenues for legal migration. And as part of this, our regular consular dialogue and arrangement, we have facilitated movement of people who are staying in the United States illegally or are part of irregular movement. And this has been going on for some time. We hope that with this cooperation and our engagement with the United States on mobility and migration, we'll be able to deter illegal immigration. We have more questions?
सर, टेस्ट मोहन शर्मा, भारत एक्सप्रेस से। कैनेडियन प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने जो बातें कही या उनके जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कह रहे हैं वो अपनी जगह पे है, उन्होंने हमें एक एनिमीज के कंट्री की लिस्ट में डाल दिया है। तो हमारे जो टाइज है उनसे ये कितना आगे तक चलने वाला है?
Rishabh.
Joint Secretary, good evening. Rishabh from Times Now. So I have 2 questions, both on Canada. One taking forward from Sharma sir. Sir, there is a report that suggests from Canada that India is involved in cyber attack on Canadian government institutions, and they have put us in a bracket which has North Korea, Iran, among others there, and China as well. So how do we respond to that? A, and B, there are reports that Indian diplomats in Canada are under surveillance. If we can have more details on that.
Hasni.
Mr. Jaiswal, this is Suhasini Heather from The Hindu. You referred to the démarche against the Canadian CDA on the basis of the officials talking about leaking reports. Now, in the reports that they have purportedly leaked, is the description of a 5-hour meeting between National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and Canadian intelligence officials in Singapore. And they've given a specific date in October. I wanted to get a sense from you, firstly, did the NSA in fact meet with Canadian officials in October to discuss the case and in particular the details about a gang run by a man called Lawrence Bishnoi? And if so, I wanted to get a sense from the government if for the last year the government has consistently said that Canada has given no evidence, dismissed any allegations made by Canada in the Niger killing, then why did the NSA actually go all the way to Singapore to meet with Canadian intelligence? Thank you.
Yes, this is Raghavendra Verma from ZDF German television. This is regarding India-China relations. So following the disengagement at the border, has or will the economic ties improve? Has some measures already been taken? There were reports of denial visa for the Chinese technicians in India. And connected to this is the conversation between the Indian and German ministers in the metro talking about the delay in the machinery from German machinery made in China to India. How serious is that and whose jurisdiction is it to speak to the Chinese about that delay? What the Germans will do or Indian government has already done, or what else is being done to normalize the economic relations, and will that happen follow up soon?
Please.
अशोक जी से मेरे दो सवाल हैं। एक, क्या यूएस ने अभी लॉरेंस बिश्नोई के भाई के बारे में किसी तरीके का डिटेल शेयर किया है फॉर एक्सट्रेडिशन? मुंबई पुलिस इसकी तफ्तीश कर रही है। दूसरा, भारत की एक निजी कंपनी है जिन्होंने एक लेटर लिखकर बांग्लादेश को कहा है कि पैसे दो और बिजली लो, इसमें किसी तरीके की जानकारी एमए को है?
दूसरा सवाल अब क्या था?
एक निजी कंपनी है, एनर्जी कंपनी है, जिन्होंने ये कहा है कि बिजली लेना है तो पैसे दो।
ठीक। मोहन एंड ऋषभ, आप दोनों का सवाल एक है कि कनाडा ने भारत को एक अलग किस्म के कैटेगरी में डाला है, उसके बारे में आप हमारी प्रतिक्रिया मांग रहे हैं। ये जो कैटेगराइजेशन उन्होंने किया है, ये अपने साइबर का उन्होंने एक रिपोर्ट जारी किया है, उसके तहत किया है। सो आई वुड लाइक टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन फॉर ऋषभ, फॉर यू एज वेल। वी सी दिस अपीयर्स टू बी अनदर एग्जांपल ऑफ अ कैनेडियन स्ट्रेटजी टू अटैक इंडिया। ये भारत को एक तरीके से फिर से अटैक करने की एक रणनीति है। एज आई मेंशन्ड अर्लियर, देयर सीनियर ऑफिशियल्स हैव ओपनली कन्फेस्ड दैट दे आर सीकिंग टू मैनिपुलेट ग्लोबल ओपिनियन अगेंस्ट इंडिया। As on other occasions, imputations are made without any evidence. तो अनर्गल बात कह के मोहन जी और निराधार बात कह के आप हम पर आरोप थोप रहे हैं, ये बात बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं है। Rishabh, on your questions regarding surveillance, yes, some of our consular officials were recently informed by the Canadian government that they have been and continued to be under audio and video surveillance. Their communications have also been intercepted. We have formally protested to the Canadian government as we deem these actions to be a flagrant violation of relevant diplomatic and consular conventions. By citing technicalities, the Canadian government cannot justify the fact that it is indulging in harassment and intimidation. Our diplomatic and consular personnel are already functioning in an environment of extremism and violence. This action of the Canadian government aggravates the situation and is incompatible with established diplomatic norms and practices. To ask me your question regarding the meeting, yes, the meeting did take place. I had in fact confirmed this earlier also in the earlier presser that we had. And I again reiterate that Canada so far has not shared with us any shred of evidence in the matter that you referred to. Raghavendra on economic ties.
Why would you meet with them?
Sorry? There are several issues that you discuss when you meet. Raghavendra, a question on India-China economic ties. We had also issued a press release after our leaders met in Kazan. As agreed at the leaders' meeting in Kazan, relevant dialogue mechanisms at the level of foreign ministers and other officials will be utilized or used to stabilize and rebuild bilateral relations. We will let you know more when these mechanisms meet. We'll let you know when these mechanisms meet to deal with issues of each other's interest and concerns. So let these meetings happen, and then we'll have further developments in regard to the question that you asked. As far as development regarding machinery, etc. See, India-Germany collaboration or economic cooperation is a large canvas. We have several issues which arise from time to time. These issues are resolved, these issues are solved in an amicable manner. Hopefully, whatever issues that are there, it will also be resolved to the best of satisfaction of both sides. अशोक, आपने बात कही अनमोल बिश्नोई की. ये जो मसला है, इन सब चीज़ों पे अभी इन्वेस्टिगेशन चल रहा है, छानबीन चल रही है, और इन सब बातों, ये सब जो बातें हैं ये लीगल डोमेन में आती है, और चूंकि लीगल डोमेन में आती हैं, जो स्टैब्लिश्ड प्रोसीजर्स है उसके तहत इस मसले पे कार्रवाई होगी. जहाँ तक आपने बात कही बिजली बांग्लादेश को बेचने वाली बात जो कही, ये मसला जो है दो पार्टी के बीच में है. एक कॉन्ट्रैक्चुअल ऑब्लिगेशन है दोनों के बीच में, एक प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है, दूसरे गवर्नमेंट ऑफ बांग्लादेश है. भारत सरकार इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का कोई भाग, इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के में हमारा कोई रोल नहीं है, इसलिए मेरे पास आपसे इससे ज्यादा शेयर करने के लिए कोई अभी इस वक्त कोई इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है. अभिषेक.
Hi, sir. Abhishek Jha, independent journalist. My question is regarding Canada. There are reports that Canadian government has reduced number of visas they used to issue to the Indians. And also, if you can share some insight on that. And also, recently, Canadian opposition leaders have cancelled a scheduled Diwali event in Canadian Parliament. So, if you have any comment on that.
Keshav.
Good afternoon, sir. Keshav Padmanabhan from The Print. This is also on Canada. The National Security and Intelligence Advisor at the hearing said that they had attempted to meet with the Indian side on the 8th of October, but no visa was given. And then on the 10th of October in New York, their officials appeared, but the Indians didn't come. And then finally on the 12th, they met in Singapore. So can you just sort of confirm whether this timeline is indeed correct, and if there are any comments or reasons regarding their allegations of the same, sir? Thank you.
नीरज.
सर, अभी इजराइल में हिजबुल्लाह की तरफ से किए गए हमले में 4 विदेशी नागरिकों की मौत हुई है. चारों थाईलैंड के थे. भारतीय कामगार भी वहां काम करते हैं. उनकी स्थिति कैसी है? उनकी सुरक्षा को लेकर किस तरह से भारत सरकार नजर रख रही है? क्योंकि हाल के वक्त में भारतीय कामगारों वर्कर्स की संख्या भी इजराइल में बढ़ी है.
क्या आप लेबनान की बात कर रहे हैं, इजराइल की बात कर रहे हैं? ठीक है.
This is Tomomi Asano from the Japanese newspaper Yomiuri Shimbun. My questions are about the BRICS summit which happened last month. After the closing of the BRICS summit, some medias are reporting that the names of the 13 countries listed as partner countries. So I just want to know, is this list finalized or not? And if not, what is the remaining procedures, and when will it be disclosed officially? And I also want to know India's understanding for the definition of partner countries. What is the difference between the member countries? Thank you.
Ajay.
Sir, good evening. I'm Ajay Banerjee with the Tribune. I seek a small clarification. The Foreign Secretary in his press briefing in Kazan had said the right time will come for the regard to India-China talks for the next steps at the LAC. You just said that the bilateral meetings let them take place and time will come. Have we set a timeline with the Chinese of the next two steps, the de-escalation and de-induction of troops around the LAC? Is there a timeline to it or?
You already asked a question. We'll come back to you. Abhishek, your question regarding Diwali celebration, which was cancelled. We have seen some reports in this regard. It is unfortunate that the prevailing atmosphere in Canada has reached high levels of intolerance and extremism. That is what I have to say in response to your question. The other question he also raised about reduction in number of visas by the Canadian government. We obviously are monitoring the well-being of our student community in Canada, as also the well-being of our professionals who are working in Canada. Our concern for the safety and security remains very strong. नीरज, ये बड़े दुख की बात है कि वहाँ पर इजराइल में हमले में 4 लोगों की हताहत हुई अभी, और वो थाईलैंड के रहने वाले, जैसे आपने बताया, हमारे तरफ से हमारी एक बड़ी समुदाय है वहाँ पर, करीबन 25 से 30 हज़ार लोग वहाँ पर इजराइल में हैं, काम करते हैं, कार्यरत हैं. हमारी जो एम्बेसी है, दूतावास है, वो उनसे लगातार टच में है. उन्होंने एक आपने देखा होगा कि ट्रैवल एडवाइजरी, और उनको एडवाइजरी भी दिया है किस प्रकार से अपनी सुरक्षा को बेहतर बहाल करें, और समय समय पर भारतीय दूतावास से वो टच में रहें ताकि हम उनका बेहतर ख्याल कर सकते हैं. आपने ये भी देखा होगा कि हम लोग कुछ दिन पहले एक स्टेटमेंट भी हम लोग ने दिया था जो वेस्ट एशिया में वहाँ पर जो हालात हैं उस पर, तो मैं आपका ध्यान उस वक्तव्य पर आकर्षित भी करना चाहूँगा. On BRICS summit, yes, my understanding is that partner countries status, 13 countries were admitted as partner countries. This was a decision which was collectively taken by the BRICS countries. Partner countries is different from a full membership. That is what I understand. As far as whether this particular issue has been closed or not at this point in time, this is my understanding that these 13 countries have become partner countries. 1-3. Ajay, regarding a question about timelines of next steps, bilateral meeting, etc., at this point in time, I don't have anything to update you on. Uma, you heard something?
Sir, this is regarding Taliban's recent diktat, where they have said that they don't want, a woman to hear another woman's voice. And India has always been sort of talking about the welfare and empowerment of women in Afghanistan. What does India think about it now?
Elena, you had something?
I've got just one more question on this very important meeting, which we all were witnessing on the sidelines of BRICS summit between Modi, Prime Minister, and Chinese President Xi Jinping. So it took place on the sidelines of BRICS in Kazan. So how was it organized? Can we speak about some kind of role of the host of the summit in this meeting? Like maybe some mediation role, or so how was it all organized in Kazan? Thank you.
Rishabh?
So can we have a confirmation that the disengagement in Depsang and Demchok area of Eastern Ladakh has been completed? And B, sir, there are reports and claims being made that there are towers being seen along the LAC One of the footage also has captured that. If we can have some information on that, at what India know about those towers near LAC that is being presumed to be Chinese.
Isham?
Didn't answer my previous question.
What?
On the NSIA allegations at the hearings.
Okay. So Huma, on Taliban, you are aware of our position. Our position on this particular issue is very well known. So that is where I'll stop. Elena, yes, the meeting of Prime Minister and President of China took place in Kazan. It was bilaterally arranged, and Kazan was the venue for it. This particular question was also posed to the Foreign Secretary, who responded very well in Kazan as well. Rishabh, on your question regarding disengagement and patrolling, you are all aware that on 21st October 2024, the last phase of disengagement was agreed upon between India and China. As a result, verification patrolling has commenced on mutually agreed terms in Demchok and Depsa. And as things move forward, we will keep you updated on this matter. Regarding the tower that you, sorry?
Verification patrolling.
It's called verification, yes. Verification patrolling in both places. The other issue that you raised, the tower, I don't have any. I'll come back to you on this particular matter. Keshav, these issues that you raised, these technical details I don't have, but I can tell you, as I've said, that the meeting took place in Singapore between our NSA and the Canadian NSA as well.